Well, hello there. How's it going? I'd like to learn you something further on Microsoft PowerPoint for those who might be interested. Here's today's challenge. You're designing a presentation for some purpose, and depending on your industry, you may be limited to your choices in the slide layout, you see. This is often a fact of life for people in my line of work, for example. So let's say that I've got this particular slide design, this layout that I'm going for. And as you can see, it looks nice, but there's a lot of blank space above where the slide title is. And then down at the bottom where the citation is in the footer, there's this line that's part of the slide. So my concern is when I paste in, as you can see here, an architectural diagram. And now there's another discussion we could have here to be picky about it. See that this image I dropped into PowerPoint has way too much border. I would want to use my image editor and trim that because I would normally want to magnify it for my learners as much as possible. And you see, that becomes highly problematic when the people who created the presentation may not think ahead to when people are actually using their template. Whoa, we've got problems here. In my opinion, it's a cardinal rule never to get in the way of the content. Never let your design get in just shiny objects distract from the content. Well, enough complaining. How am I going to solve this problem? Well, what I'm going to do is first apply some understanding that may or may not be new to you. We can get to where these layouts are, and we can customize them themselves. They're called masters. So check this out. I'm in PowerPoint for Windows, latest version, Microsoft 365 on Windows 11. But you can do all of this with PowerPoint on the web and PowerPoint on the Mac and so forth. Let's go over to View on the Ribbons tab, or Ribbon tab, singular. And here we've got the different master views. This is the schema, to use an IT buzzword, that defines the underlying structure and format. I hit slide template there. Let me close and show you that again. I know I can move a bit too quickly most of the time. View, slide master. And here it's going to be a question of what you have is going to be, the complexity that is, of what you see is going to be entirely up to who designed the template. I'm going to close this for privacy reasons because we just want to focus on this one here. But that is to say, depending upon how big of a design you have, there may be a whole bunch of master designs, and you may need to make updates to more than one. I'm just going to assume that this particular citation is the only layout that I'm concerned with here. Now, notice that I can click my mouse in this case and delete. I'd normally edit stuff like that out, but as you know, this is really on the spot ad hoc content. I'm going to Control Z to back up because I intentionally want to show you my hack. And here it is. I use TechSmith Snagit. So whatever screen capture tool you use, I'm going to bring that out and I'm going to do a region capture. I want the color of the slide. Now, again, this is going to be complicated. If the people who designed your slide background have all this, I'm going to say garbage, that is going to mess up doing what I'm going to do. So it's best to have the simplest layouts possible, if at all possible. So I'm going to match the color right off the bat by just making a rectangular selection. And again, the specifics of what I'm doing now would just be what tool you're using. I've used Snagit for well over 20 years, so I have such ingrained cognitive muscle memory. Well, is the brain a muscle? No, but you get the idea that it's just reflex. But anyway, I'm going to Control A to select that entire selection, Control C to put it in my clipboard. And now finally, I'll Control V to lay that onto the slide. And again, you may be surprised that your selection appears to shrink. Again, that depends on whoever designed the template. You can adjust the aspect ratio and the dimensionality and the number of pixels you can cram in. So you'll find that there may be some compensation going on when you paste in, but look what I'm doing. Now, of course, I can right click and make sure. Sometimes, call me superstitious, I might do a bring to front just to be absolutely positive that I don't mess something up, because I do tend to work in multiple layers. PowerPoint doesn't have a concept of layers as well. It does, but not to the degree that you have in Visio or the Adobe applications. So let me stretch the selection out. You see where I'm going here. And in this case, that's all I need to do. I'm done. So watch this. We want to make sure to come out of Slide Master View by hitting Close Master View. Now, if you go and start clicking elsewhere, you might inadvertently come back out of Slide Master View and then be like, wait a minute, what happened? So in that case, just remember to go back to View, because we are looking for a different view of the presentation. And we go from the presentation views to the master views. We make our cover-ups here, and then to be really orthodox about the matter, we can then close master view and go from there. Now, I have had situations, like I said before, where whoever designed the template that I have to use has done a bit too much artistry, and they're just really kludging it up. So when it comes time to making a cover-up, what do you do in those cases? Well, I'll be very candid. If I feel that doing a cover-up is going to burn up time unnecessarily and potentially impact my production timeline, I'm going to surface that to my client immediately and let them know, look, this is a issue for me, enough to where it's blocking my workflow, and I'll go from there. I have gone to more extremes to even try to match patterns a little bit, but for me, the cover-up thing turns into like everything in life, a cost-benefit analysis, pro-con, if you want to put it that way. How much is it worth it for me to invest time to try to fix this or work around this? If nothing else, I hoped you picked up something that you might not have known before about the master views. Those can be super important. As a presenter, I haven't done technical conferences in a long time, but when I print out my presentations, I'll oftentimes horse around a bit with particularly this view. I forgot what it's called. We just clicked into it. The notes view. Because a lot of times when I make a handout, back in the days when it was a printed handout, I wanted to give my learners room to take notes. So I liked to, even when I make a PDF, a lot of times I'll intentionally print out the notes page view to give that note-taking ability. Just thinking like a teacher, thinking like a student. But I thought I would mention it because it comes out a little bit in this discussion of masters. You've got 3 different master views, and those are your fundamental ground floor customizations for the presentation template. So wrapping up, I know that I've reaffirmed to myself my philosophy of always function over form. I love form. I am just as much of a creative and an artist and a right brain person as I am a logical, rational person, a left hemisphere person. I'm fortunate to be equally weighted, as is Zoe, my daughter. But anyway, that's it. Well, as always, let me know in the comments or wherever if you have a PowerPoint issue that you've been grappling with or something that you want to learn more about. I found that using Copilot here in PowerPoint is gradually getting better and better, particularly about presentation creation and giving you a skeleton to work with. Again, don't have the time. That would definitely be a nice subject for another YouTube lesson. But if you are already licensed to use Copilot and PowerPoint, may I just give you some friendly encouragement to stay the course. Don't rage quit. I rage quit myself with it a month or 2 ago, gave it a few weeks, and now I'm back and I'm having much better results with it. We have to understand, we're so early days with generative AI still, and everybody at Microsoft is learning as they go, just like we, the consumers, are learning as we go. So we can only learn as we go after those engineers publish and after they know what they're doing and they surface it to us, then we can figure out it as well. You see what I'm saying? So you'll find that as you continue to come back to it, even when it sometimes frustrates you, for me, it's almost always, create a presentation about performing quick cover-ups in, PowerPoint. Excuse me again. Let's see what happens. I have noticed, excuse me, sorry, that Copilot in the Microsoft 365 Office apps is pretty slow, pretty slow. I can't imagine it's due to huge demand. Whoa, well, that's interesting. A presentation it created, so it looks like it's used my template that I was using under the hood. And it's also, let me come out here, and it's actually created some slides here. Wow, this is kind of cool. All right, well, it's been 10 minutes, so let's call it there, but I'll assign that to you for homework. Use Copilot to have it generate some starter presentations for you. I know I'm going to be circling back to this myself. All righty, thank you. Have a good one. Bye.